still waiting for a different sign, waiting for someone to take me away, get these thoughts off my mind. As I wait, thinking of you, hoping.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, oh my friends, today we are in for a treatsicle. Today I will be creating 3 looks with the ABH NORVINA Volume 1 palette. This palette just came out, and to be honest with you, the second I saw the shades that were in here, kind of blew my socks off. As far as a colorful palette is concerned, this has a lot, and it has things that I know that I don't own a dupe of, which really says something because I own a lot of eyeshadows. As I normally do when I do one of these 3 looks videos, I will timestamp each look down below in case there's a specific one you'd like to jump to. I will also list all of the other products that I use in the video in the description down below. I think that's all I'm putting in the description today. There's not really a whole lot of other information that you need. So we're not gonna dilly-dally around today. We're just gonna get right into these 3 looks. But before we do, first of all, go ahead and leave a like on this video because it's very helpful to me and I appreciate it. And also, if you are new around here and you've been creeping around and you've been watching a few videos but you haven't subscribed yet, let me explain to you why you should subscribe. See the side eye that this here mug is giving? That's the side eye that I'm giving you if you have not yet subscribed to my channel. But also, I think you would enjoy it. I think that you would have a good old time, and I would really appreciate it. I would like to have you around, so go ahead and subscribe for those reasons and those reasons only. I think that's all we have to get out of the way before we get into the look, so let's just get started. Look number 1 with the ABH NORVINA Volume 1 palette. Okay, now that I have this palette in front of me, I thought I knew where I wanted to go with this, but boy, was I wrong. Where am I going with this? I don't even know what I'm doing. I think I'm going to start by going into some of the purples in this palette, specifically these more lavender ones, so B1 and A2. I'm going to begin by dipping into B1 with my BH Cosmetics number 6 brush. I'm going to start putting that through my crease area and blending it upward, and I'm going to transition to a different purple for the outer half. So far that color is very pretty. With the same brush, I'm going to go into a little bit of A2. And with a clean blending brush, I'm just going to start blending the top edge of that out. The lighter shade, I'm bringing that up right to the underneath portion of my brow. And next I'm going to grab my Sigma E36 brush and I'm going to go into some of the deeper purple shades. I think I'm going to start with B4. I'm just going to use that to deepen up the crease. I'm going to pick up a clean brush, this is the MAC 221S, and I'm going to go back into A2. I did get a lot of fallout from B4 onto my lid area, so I'm just gonna go in with a makeup wipe and just wipe that away and reprime it. I'm not going to cut the crease with it. I just want to get rid of some of that because I feel like it might muddy up the colors. The rest of this here lid area that we just reprimed, I would like to play with this shade here, D4. I don't think that cameras and photographs have been doing this shade justice. It doesn't really look as interesting when I see it on the internet as it does when I'm seeing it in person. To clarify why it's cooler in person, it's like a matte, but it has like glitter in the matte. It doesn't look shimmery, but like has like little star flecked bits of nighttime in there. It just looks really good. So I am going to pack this over the outer half of the lid where we reprimed. Like, wow, whoa, whoa. Just gonna blend the edge of that with that Sigma E36 brush and try to blend it and marry that together. With the crease shade, I am getting like buttloads of fallout with this, so just be warned. That's okay because we did not conceal underneath our eyes yet because we knew this was coming. I'm bringing a little bit of that shade through the inner portion of the crease. I'm not really adding any extra to the brush. I'm just kind of blending over what we already have on the eye. I'm gonna pick up this NABLA lash line smudger brush. I'm not gonna use it to smudge my lash line though. I'm gonna pick up some of the shade D2, which is like this navy purple-ish shade with some, it looks like gold and purple reflects in it. I don't know, it looks freaking pretty is what it looks like. I'm gonna pack that onto the inner portion of the lid. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of that deep blue D4 on the same brush and just use that to blend the edges of that all together. I'm about to move on to the lower lash line, so in a second I'm just gonna conceal underneath here. First of all, let me just say how shook I am with these colors. Like, I'm very pleased so far. I'm very, this is, so I don't want to like get ahead of myself because like we have 2 more looks and 2.5 more looks to do. But so far, I think this is the best ABH palette I've ever used. And I liked the Jackie one, and it was only 2 weeks ago. And this is, I'm shocked right now. But before I move on to the lower lash line, I just want to add just a little. I take my pinky finger and I'm gonna go into the shade A1, which is this frosty lavender shade, and I'm just taking the tiniest little dab. I'm gonna put it right in the center of my lid near the lash line. I just want to use that to highlight the center of the lid and kind of enhance the wet look that we have going on with this metallic shade on the lid. That's it, just that simple, Simon. I'm gonna go and conceal and we'll start working on the lower lash line, and I think we're going very sultry with this. I put a lot of powder underneath my eyes because I want to make sure we catch any fallout, because I was getting quite a bit of fallout with a few of those shades, but the way they blend, it's so worth it. But while it does seem like we could go for like a unicorn and rainbows kind of a vibe right now, that's not the mood I'm in today. I'm in a dark mood today. I'm in a sultry mood. I'm in a slap your mama for eating my last bowl of soup mood. Is that a mood? But anyway, I want to go deep and sultry for the lower lash line. So I am going to do my waterline with black. I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Perversion. Remember when we all thought that the blackest black in the history of black was Urban Decay 0, and then they came out with Perversion and we were like, oh, black through my waterline. And I'm not going to be too careful about whether I get it under my lower lashes or not, because I'm going to blend that out into deep, rich black shades anyway. And on a MAC pencil brush, I'm going to go into the shade D5, which is the matte black shade. And I'm going to use that to smoke out the whole lower lash line. I'm going to put it down with the pencil brush, and then if we need to blend it out with a clean brush, we will. Ooh, she is very deep and rich black. On a clean pencil brush, I'm going to go into the shade A1. I'm just going to use that to highlight the inner corner. So as I was sitting here thinking about how I would finish off this look, I was like, what would Alyssa Marie Artistry do? If you don't know, Alyssa Marie is usually the one who does Norvina's makeup, and she does, oh God, such a beautiful job. Like honestly, it's like every look she does is so inspiring. And I'm thinking what she might do is add some rhinestones to this. And everybody's loving adding rhinestones to their makeup right now anyway because of Euphoria, so it's like a perfect time to do it. I'm just gonna grab some regular clear flat back rhinestones. I'm gonna use my House of Lashes clear glue, and I'm just gonna stick them in a few various spots that I think would look pretty. I think I'm gonna keep them like mostly in the center, almost like Harlequin style, even though the rest of the look isn't Harlequin-esque. Okay, I added House of Lashes Stella Luxe lashes. I just finished off my skin with some blush and a little bit of highlight. For the lip, I think that matte and nude is going to be perfect with this. Really keep the focus on that purpley blue because it is so delish. So I'm gonna line my lips with the NABLA pencil in the color Touch Me, and I'm gonna fill my lips in with Dose of Colors, My Main. And this is the first look. For look number 2, I've been thinking, and I really don't think that I can live with myself if I don't use shade E4. That's what I'm gonna use for the majority of this look. Taking my BH number 6, and I'm gonna start by placing that around the crease area. Quite bright, quite vibrant. I feel like on camera it looks more like a true red, but in person it's definitely like an orangey coral red. On the top of that. And on the same brush, I'm gonna go back and pack more of that color on where we blended it away. I was initially gonna do this color all the way down to the lash line, but because this reads more of a red coral, I'm gonna use color E2, which is an orange. I'm picking that up on a Real Technique shading brush, and I'm just going to pack that on the lid. Now that those two colors are down, I want to add a little bit of depth to the crease. I think I'm going to start by using color D3, which is this true red here. Put that through the end of the crease. Ooh, these colors are coming together so pretty. I'm just going to flick some of that shade upward at the end. I'm gonna take a little bit of this color E1, which is like a shimmering orange. It reminds me of like orange soda vibes. I'm gonna pick it up on my ring finger, just like I did in the last look, and I'm just gonna tap it right in the center of the lid, right where I put down that matte orange, just to give it a little bit of the center highlight. And then I'm gonna go back into the coral shade E4 and tap that around the edges of that orange as well. Oh man, this is fun. This is a good time. I did concealer, I did powder, the usual. I'm gonna go back into E4 again, this time on a MAC 221S brush. And I'm gonna use that to blend out the lower lash line, and I'm gonna sweep that up around to meet the top. On a lash line smudger brush from NABLA, I'm gonna go into the red shade D3. I'm gonna use that to deepen out the outer portion of the lower lash line, not a lot, just a little bit. I'm gonna sweep away some of that fallout and the excess powder I have down, and then I am going to use a clean blending brush to blend the edge of that. For the waterline, I don't have a really bright orange eyeliner, so I'm gonna use a bright orange lip pencil. Like I always say, try to use an eye pencil, because you're not supposed to put this in your waterline. Do as I say, not as I do. And lastly, to highlight the inner corner, I'm gonna go back into E1. This time I'm picking that up on a pencil brush, and I'm gonna wet it with a little bit of Fix Plus. Pop that on the inner corner area to brighten it up. So I put on the same pair of lashes. I wound up using the color E4 from the palette as my blush because I thought that that would be a nice way to make sure that the whole look is very cohesive as far as the tones are concerned. I added some faux freckles. This time I used the Lime Crime Bushy Brow Pen in the color Redhead because I wanted them to be a little bit more warm toned to blend with the rest of the look. I figured why not add just a tiny touch of rhinestone to this look. I'm going to use the same process that I did for the last look, except that this time I'm going to use rose gold colored rhinestones, and I'm simply going to place them on the inner and outer corners of the eyes. By the way, I know I'm gonna get questions about how I'm picking these up. This is just a wax pencil. Sometimes your rhinestones will come with this, but if they don't, you can just pick one of these up at like Michael's or something. They have silicone tipped ones too. It's basically just a pencil that's a little bit soft at the tip, and it'll just tap on top of it and pick up the stone so you don't have to like fuck around with tweezers. I also used a slightly larger rhinestone on the outer corner because I wanted to make sure that it was visible past the lashes. So for the lip with this look, I want to keep it like simple, nude-ish, warm nude-y again, but I want it to be glossy this time and a little bit more diffused. So I'm going to use my NABLA Touch Me pencil again. I'm going to use it over most of the lip and just blend it toward the center. And I'm going to top it with my ColourPop So Juicy gloss in the color Partly Rowdy. And this orange number is the second look. Okay, so for the third look, first of all, I had to put so much concealer on just now because those oranges and corals and reds stained my lids like wow. So I put on a lot of concealer as a base to prepare for this look. For the third look, I think I want to keep it a little bit more toned down as far as the color is concerned because the first two looks were so very, very bright. I'm going to use the less bright tones for this one. I'm going to start by going into the shade C4. And with a clean blending brush, blending the edge of that as usual. Toward the end, I'm just flicking that out toward my temple because I'm gonna kind of make the entire shape a little bit pointed. On my Sigma E36, I'm gonna start deepening that up by going into shade E5. I'm using that to deepen up kind of above my natural crease. On that same brush, I'm going to go into a little bit of the black shade D5, just a tiny bit. I don't want it to be too overwhelming, and I'm just going to use that to further deepen that shape. I'm also going to take that small brush and go back into a little bit of C4 and mix it with a little bit of E3. And I'm going to use that to just deepen up the outer corner of that eye. That way when we go in with shimmers on the lid, it's not like it just ends and it's like, here's the end. But there's also still a little bit of differentiation between that shade and that depth that we added out there. I'm gonna take my Real Technique shading brush and I'm gonna go into the shade C3, which is this mauve jewel toned with like a gold and a pink shift in it. It is absolutely stunning. I'm just gonna blend the edge of that with the same brush and a little bit more of C4 just to soften it and blend it into those other colors. The little note that gave me so much fallout though, like a shit ton. Like, I don't know how much you guys can see, but it's just like a sheet of fallout here. I always tell you guys, I don't really care that much about fallout. It doesn't bother me. I don't think it is like something that makes or breaks a palette, but I just like to know so I can know what I'm dealing with because I can just plan how I do the rest of my face and like what order I do my makeup in accordingly, you know what I mean? All right, I concealed and powdered so we can start working on the lower lash line, but before, get it, because we were using the shade B4. I want to add a little pop of brightness to the center of the lid, so I'm gonna go into the shade B3. And again, like I did the last two looks, I'm gonna pick that up on my ring finger and I'm just gonna pop that right in the center. And then I'm gonna go back in with the shade I originally used, which was C3, on the same brush that I used to apply it, and just tap around it to make sure we didn't lose too much of that color. I literally just want one little pop of more brightness right in the center. For the waterline, I'm gonna pick up the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in the shade Love Drug. I just feel like this kind of goes along with the theme we've got going on with the colors. I'm just gonna run that through my waterline. Next, I'm going to grab my MAC 221S brush and go back into C4. Start dragging that underneath my lower lash line and up into that shape we created at the top. On my NABLA lash line smudger brush, I'm going to go back into D5, which is the black shade. I'm going to start pressing that into the outer portion of my lashes. I'm also going to flick that out so that it creates a bit of a V shape and then meets with the end of the shape we created on the top. And because we've used rhinestones in each and every one of these looks so far, why stop now? I'm going to use the same method to place them, but this time I'm going to use really tiny ones and use them almost like an inner corner highlight. That took a second because I'm having my watery eyeball situation, but these colors, bitch. There's a little bit of creasing happening right here, but that is also because of my watery eyes, not the fault of the palette, that's the fault of the me. And to continue the mauve theme, I'm gonna do like a mauvey satin lip. So I'm gonna line with the NABLA lip pencil in the shade Melrose and fill in the center with the MAC Love Me lipstick in the shade Killing Me Softly. And this is the third and final look. If you watched all 3 looks, you probably already gathered what my thoughts on this palette are, but oh man, I freaking love this palette. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm in love with it, I love it. The one and only negative that I have found with this palette is that there is quite a bit of fallout with it. Like I always say, I don't really care that much if there's fallout. I just prepare for it by not concealing underneath my eyes, not contouring my nose yet, that kind of a thing, and then just wipe it away and go about the rest of my life. So fallout isn't really a huge detriment to me, but I do like to mention it because I know it does bother some people. But outside of that, I think this palette is absolutely flawless. Every single thing in it worked super, super well. There were a couple of shades that I felt like could possibly blend away if you aren't careful or if you don't use a sticky enough base, but they weren't so much like that it was even difficult to work with them. It was just that like a couple of moments like I blended too hard and I was like, oh, I lost a little bit of the color there, let me go back and pack some more on. But it didn't have any of those issues that we often see in very colorful, highly pigmented palettes where colors will completely blend away and become patchy. Literally none of that went on whatsoever. I really am impressed with this. The shimmers are like so jewel toned and creamy and multi-dimensional and like really shiny and bright. The whole thing is just really, really impressive. And overall, I had a freaking blast making these looks. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, I've mentioned it before, I have felt like I was in a bit of a rut for the last few weeks as far as makeup application is concerned. Like I didn't film for a week or two, and then when I got back into it, I wasn't really feeling especially inspired or especially like I was doing a good job with my makeup. Like I really liked the ABH Jackie Aina palette when I did a 3 looks video with that. But I also felt like all of the looks could have been better because like I wasn't on my A game. This palette like reignited my creativity and my desire to try different makeup looks, and therefore I felt like all of the looks that I did today are something I really loved, and it was because I like this palette so much that it like got my juices flowing. Like I really think this might be the best palette of the year so far, if I'm being entirely honest. I'm living for these mauve and purple tones right now, like living for them. Like I have to take this off because I need to go to the gym in a little while. I really wish that I had done this on a day where I was gonna wear it out and about because I love these tones. I love the blues that were in here. I'm gonna just shut up because I really liked every single thing that I used out of this palette today. I haven't had so much fun applying makeup in a while. This was good. I feel good. I feel so good. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a second to do that because it helps me out and I really appreciate it. And also if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe because I would love to continue to have you around for more videos where hopefully I'm just as excited about the products that I'm using as I was today. It doesn't always work out that way, but in the case that it does, I want you to be there for it. I want you, the one, yeah. No, not that one, you. If you would like to keep up with me between videos, if you want to see behind the scenes, PR unboxings, take part in polls, kind of get a sneak peek of what's coming up here on the channel, as well as see my other makeup looks and my lip art, come follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Miss Quinface over there, and I would love to have you be part of that little family as well. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed watching these 3 looks, and I will see you in the next one.